At long last, the unique Melody Mest MkII. Let's begin. Hello and thank you for clicking on this video where I'm finally sharing my experience on the unique Melody Mest MkII. This is a 1,800 US dollars, which translates to 2,400 Australian dollar IEM, which I paid in full, so it's a lot of money for an IEM, but it will not influence my feedback, as I will be as honest as I will be for this video as I've always been for any other videos, regardless of price. However, your support to this channel will help soften the blow of having a massive hole in my bank account, so do consider hitting that like and subscribe button. That will greatly be appreciated. So diminishing returns aside, let's see what a kilobuck IEM will bring to your experience. For accessories, for 2,400 Australian dollars, you'd expect some form of an unboxing experience, and the unique Melody Mest MkII does not disappoint. It comes with a huge box, and as you open it up, you'll be greeted by the iconic unique Melody case in striking blue and the UM letter in black. There's also a bottom drawer you can pull out of the box, and in there, a set of interchangeable ear tips, a set of Setna ear-fit ear tips, and a cleaning cloth. Opening the case itself, you have the IEMs and cable separated in compartments at first, but this piece is on Velcro, so you can remove it for more space inside this case, which is how I'm currently using it. The cable itself is really solid and sturdy, and it works so well with the Mest MkII that I never even thought of wanting to change it. I've tried, but I always find myself changing it back to stock, and until I find another cable that compares to this in terms of looks and sound, the stock cable will remain as is. For design, the design on the unique Melody Mest MkII is quite hard to describe. It's an IEM with gold speckles and flakes on a black background with pattern lines, and the UM logo on one faceplate and the Mest MkII on the other in silver. It's easily recognizable, simple but complicated at the same time. Even if you have fingerprints on it, because of how busy the design is, it sort of blends in with it. I actually like it a lot. It stands out without attracting too much attention. For fit and comfort, due to the size of this IEM, it does put a bit of pressure compared to say a single dynamic driver IEM, but compared to say like the Monarch MkII or even the Maestro SE, the Mest MkII fits my ears a lot better and is a lot snugglier than the other two, but it goes in a little deeper into my ear, so taking it out and putting them back on does require a little bit more time than I normally would, but I could listen to the Mest MkII for longer periods of time compared to the first two mentioned earlier, but I would still require a short break after hours of listening sessions. For ear tips, I typically don't talk about ear tips, but I feel it's important for the Mest MkII. I've been experimenting with Sennheiser stock ear tips, Dunu's SNS ear tips, Moondrop spring tips, and the Setna ear-fit ear tips, which I feel has the best synergy and comfort when paired with the Mest MkII. But by far the best experience I have is on the Dunu SNS and the Sennheiser stock ear tips in terms of fit, seal, and sound performance. The following sound presentation is based on using the Sennheiser ear tips. For bass, you'd think with a bone conductor driver you'd be expecting some deep, rumbling, soul-crushing, skull-pounding bass, but it's almost the opposite of that experience. The bass on the Mest MkII is rather controlled. There's enough bass to accompany the track, there's rumble on the deep end, the bass note sounds round and full, but the punch and slam isn't the hardest. I feel the bone conduction driver is doing something else, and what I think it does to the sound is that it's providing that sense of vibration when the guitar string has been plucked. It just adds a little bit of depth and dimension to an otherwise flat note. It's not something that would satisfy bass heads anytime soon, and if you want something that slams your skull, then the MkII doesn't do that. But what it does is present bass in a clean and clear manner with a lot of depth and dimension. And I think it was important that the bass was presented such a way, because if it was given any more, it would have eclipsed the mid-range entirely, and let me explain why. The mid-range, the entire sound presentation on the unique Melody Mest MkII is recessed. That's what's giving it its slightly wider than average soundstage illusion, because the sound sounds further away from you. Yet it's not like you can't hear it, it's present, it's clear, and even though you're getting the entire sound as a whole, it doesn't sound like they're on a flat plane. And this is why it was important the bass was presented the way it was, because it was enough to accompany the track, but any more it would have simply masked this entire presentation, and it'll just be muddy. However, I do have to note that vocals don't have that weight note or presence on the Mest MkII, so if you're all about listening to vocals, this may not be the IEM for you, but if you like to listen to your music as a a whole, this does it very well, and the other aspects of the sound contributes to this statement. For treble, there's a lot of treble to make notes sound open and clear. However, I have to put a caution for treble sensitive people because it can sound a little piercing depending on your tracks due to the position of the vocals. Female vocals can sound a little bit on the thinner side. However, on the flip side, trumpets have that sharp attack and it sounds distinct. The treble on the Mest MkII also has enough treble extension to give instruments that airy sound, which is why my beloved trumpets sounded strong and sweet. The way the treble is presented on the Mest MkII also helps in the next aspect of the frequency. For technicalities, this aspect of the sound is where this IEM does best and is famous for. Imaging on this IEM is fantastic. Listening to music or watching movies on the Mest MkII is a joy to experience. The sounds on the left and right channels are clear and there's separation between each sound to help make its position within the space clear and distinct. Everything mentioned earlier makes for a slightly wider than average sound presentation, but how the sound is positioned within the space helps create some depth as well. Despite having a lot of details within the sound because you're not receiving it all in your face due to the distance it creates between you and the sound, it doesn't feel like you're analyzing the sound, and it's quite an experience, especially when compared to many other IEMs at this price range. For power on the 4.4 termination and using my Hi-Fi Man EF400, I'm getting to about 9 to 10 o'clock, which is to say, this boy needs some power, and with power, it'll shine. So to sum it all up, I've been fortunate to be in a position where I have the opportunity to listen to the Monarch Mark II, 64 Audio U12T, the Sony IER Z1R, and the Fat Freak Maestro SE. And while there's a reason why I'm not currently using the Maestro SE as my current daily driver, which I'll explain in another video, however, despite having access to all of the choices above, I keep finding myself reaching to the unique Melody Mest MkII, because the Mest MkII presents a unique, pun intended, sound presentation that makes it quite addicting to listen to. It's not for everyone, that's for sure. If you want your vocals to have more presence, if you're sensitive to treble, stay clear from the Mest MkII. But if you like a wide soundstage presentation with pinpoint imaging without it sounding too analytical, the Mest MkII brings that in spades. And there's a reason why it holds its position in many audiophiles' collection even after all these years. Now that the unique Melody Mark III is out, I'm curious to see how they can improve on this, but even if I don't hear what the Mark III brings, I'm still happy with what I'm getting with the unique Melody Mest MkII. However, this is based on one man's experience and I'm curious to know yours. Have you heard the unique Melody Mest MkII, and what was your experience like, or will you consider adding this to your collection? Comment below, let me know, and with that all said, thank you all again for watching, and until the next experience, take care and happy listening.